So, as I start today's meetup, so majorly this meetup is inspired creations of Mariana. So, majorly it's about understanding the user journey from their own perspective as they enter a product you have developed on or products they have used earlier before. So have you wondered why in some products you spend way much more time, or you're ever in that product as compared to another product? There are more topics on that, but due to the time constraint, I'll cover 3 topics. So for the first one, it's what motivates people to spend more time majorly on your product. So okay, I'm majorly focusing on our product, but there are more motives to what people do, what they do. So for the first law, it's the goal gradient effect. And for the presentation I've scheduled, I've compressed them in a way that there's a picture and there's also like the explanation of it. So for example, in this picture, you can see there are 12 steps. So the first 2 steps, there are 2 coffee, mugs of coffee. So there's a contrast between this and another user. So for example, I can use this example. So we have 2 users. One has already ordered 2 coffees, maybe 2 separate days on the same day, maybe 2 mugs of coffee. And there's another one who hasn't ordered at all. So what happens is that you maybe have promised them that when they reach the 12th cup, you give them some reward. So the one who has already covered 2 steps already is more motivated to continue up to the 12th one and get the reward as compared to the one who hasn't started. So that's the small steps, the explanation of small steps. So breaking a big task into smarter steps to encourage the user to continue with it. But also there is the reversal of the role, whereby you can encourage a person to to consume your product, but after they have got the goal, they stop using your product. So you have to find a balance between having the challenges being too hard or too easy, so as to encourage your users to continue using your product. And also there is feedback, and feedback comes in different ways. There's feedback, and also you may say there's praise. So for example, you could get a user and tell them, yeah, you're doing correct. Like you're logging well into the user page. You have accomplished this goal well, as compared to telling them like this is how it is done. So you're giving them feedback according to what they have achieved. And then the next law, it's Zingari effect. So for this law, it states that person, and most of us have experienced this. So you're more likely to remember the stuff that you have done up to the middle, or you have uncompleted on the interrupted task, as compared to the ones you have completed. And in the application of these, you could use maybe progress bars, check marks, so that the user can remember that they have done this up to this percentage. So for example, on LinkedIn, as you create your profile and you keep on adding your stuff, you see like the the progress bar, the percentage is continuing to increase until maybe 100%. Well, I haven't checked that feature of rate, but when I joined, that was a motivating factor for me to ensure I've completed my account maybe, because well, by then I was thinking, if I complete my account fully, I'm more praised to recruiters and I could get a job. Well, that's a story for another day. Oh, I'm sorry for that. So, and also, Well, it also depends with the task one is doing. So, for example, if it's for educational purposes, you should schedule mid sessions after maybe a topic or subtopic. So, for example, you are learning on product management and you are on product discovery, you would prefer to subdivide them into tasks. Then, as you maybe teach the people, you subdivide them into tasks and break them so that there won't be so much information overload. I hope I'm not going too fast. And then the other law is the law of reward systems. For reward systems, majorly even as you see in the old presentation, majorly this in for gaming application. Well, it can be used other places, but majorly it's for gaming. So you see, for example, here there are streaks. So a user is more encouraged to use your website if they have a goal they're achieving. So, for example, I remember when we were back when we are in high school and we had this game known as Temple Run. I remember there were different levels we were to complete so that you can get maybe a gear, a different prayer. And it really motivated a person to continue like winning and also keeping up. So for example, you delivered maybe 100 the last game, you want to get maybe the next game so that you can get more, maybe you can unlock more people and swags. Then also go to the badges. Also, these occurs to gamers. So majorly, if you have a community maybe on Discord, you would also be giving badges to the winners who are like more competitive as compared to others. And also public ranking the users as we show their accomplishments. Also for developers, I've seen this work. So there's this product, worker time. I've seen even my friends. It motivates them to compete amongst each other to see who is developing more as compared to each other. And that keeps actually helps a developer to be more consistent on their development journey. And next is the anchoring bias. So this one majorly is it goes with the first impression. So whereby a user is likely to make a strong a strong bias according to the numbers you have shown initially on your screen. So for example, for this tweet, I use bias. So this one is people tend to highly rely on the first information like they encounter, especially on your product. So this will go with the first impression. But this one heavily relies on numbers. So for example, here there are two screens on the tweet. So for the first one, it shows the product at $290, and the second one, it shows a discounted price at $290 slashed from $400. And also it has a red prompt. That is not a prompt, but a red information that triggers the user to think more of how they can get the product by the end of the day. So this everything um, motivates a user to get the product. Then for the curiosity gap, so this one is the gap between like what people know and what they want to know. And this majorly occurs with the unpredictability of which you get to present information to your users. So for example, I'm motivated to get into my LinkedIn account or my Twitter account to get content, especially on product, because I'm not sure each and every day as on each and every hour what kind of different information I'm getting and from which author. And also, this also tends to be a dopamine effect because for me, I love getting to know much more of products. So with each and every more information or content I'm consuming on product, there's a dopamine effect in me that I'm gaining more on product. And also for this one, I would go back maybe to a platform like the platform with ding dong sound, whereby, for example, if you get a like or yeah, measured in likes, you'd get a specific sound rhyming to that, which prompts the user to know that there's an action that has occurred, especially for positive sounds that and also tied with positive maybe experiences. That's a dopamine turned onto the other way. It can also have like negative effects on that. So then I'll go to the next law. So it's the sunk cost effect. And for this one, actually, for this tweet, it's the tweet that prompted me to use tweets to explain the contents here. So for this user, he is using the Duolingo application to maybe study a new language. And he gets a notification that tells him that he's losing a streak or his efforts are, are hello? They're not paying up. So that motivates him to go back and complete the work that he had done. So to further explain and to show the reverse of the role, it becomes a fallacy on a major losing if it pushes people to do things that they won't make them happy. So for example, I would use this for people who have maybe tried to trade forex. You get a person has lost money, but they won't stop trading until they think they can maybe regain that money. So they keep on trading and trading until maybe the account is almost down to zero. So the reverse of the role is if you continue to do like to want to recoup an investment, yet you're not regaining back, you can end up wasting more money as compared to if you had just accepted you had failed or you had lost. And it usually motivates people in a positive way to continue to use your product. And to the next, it's the loss aversion. So people avoid losses more as compared to gains. So for example, in this tweet, you can see the first one, save money. So it's slashed whereby you save 500, it's slashed from $500 to $90, whereby you can grab a copy. And the next one is it starts with an exclamation that stop losing money, and it's similar to the first screen, only that for here it prompts the user with a big one, with a with a big exclamation that they are losing money, and also it prompts them to take action very fast because it tells them to stop wasting money and the deal ends in 2 hours. So this motivates the user to take action because they won't want to make a loss. Yeah. And the next law is the law of reciprocal. Well, I'll leave it at that. So it's good for your product to give value to a user even before you ask them to take action. So for example, in this tweet, you can see Duolingo ask the user which language they want to learn even before they have logged in or signed up. So you see the user will first, okay, according to this tweet and from the understanding I can see here, you maybe, for example, select French, then it prompts you to log in. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the end of the first topic, which is what motivates people to do what they do. So I can take some question before I get to the next topic. Okay, if so, we can get to the next topic on what, how people decide, on how they get to decide when using a product on into their normal lives. And first, we'll start with X law, so minimizing decision time. So, for example, on this street, you can see this presentation or this gaming equipment with which has many buttons, and with such kind of with a gaming equipment, the user is what it has complicated the task already. So meaning the user will find it hard to use it. So it's best on your product to reduce the the complex task by splitting them into smaller steps to reduce the cognitive load, that is the process of getting to take the action or complete the action, and also to help the users to make the decisions more efficiently. And the next is the power of nudging. So for the first one, it's about the visibility and prominence of how information or options are shown to your users. The second would be social proof. So how we show users the popularity of actions, and maybe how other people have taken that action, how they have maybe used your product and it has helped them. So that would be social proof. And this would be maybe majorly seen with the user ratings, and also how you provide feedback to them. So for example, on this tweet, you see this user says they love our tutor, though for this tweet it may be way out. Like the Twitter version shown here is an earlier version, a very way action. So here, Twitter prompts the user, maybe this would be the time there were many fake news, whereby the user, even without maybe reading the article, they would have already retweeted and liked it. So it tells the user, headlines don't tell the full story. You can read the Twitter, you can read the article on Twitter before retweeting it. So to help them also to curb that. So, and the next effect is, the next law is uh, default biases. So for default, majorly, this one will go on to reduce cognitive loads to help users not to make long decisions. So they are accustomed, your users are accustomed to knowing how some particular products work. So for example, when I log in into even a new social media application, I'm very sure I expect things to flow in a certain way. And also for the other one, so I'll explain on attention-driven input. So when input fields require user like attention, it's wise to avoid using defaults. So for example, you would rather not have like the user have their email already filled them. You want them to maybe type a little bit of their email, then you can maybe autocomplete for them. On autocomplete, then you also tell them like to maybe press start to complete that, to have an action before taking already that is a default action. And also for smart default, so to help like to enhance decision making. So for example, go to this tweet. So for before, you can see there's a before screenshot and an after screenshot. And you see for the first one, the user has added 3 products to their cart. But before maybe on aggregation of the final product, the user can want to maybe remove a product. And with them coupled all brought together here, it would be way difficult to maybe unselect a product. But for the next screen, it helps the user to even get more information of the product as compared to the first one. Then the next one is decision fatigue. So, and with decision fatigue, it's the number of decisions a user is making before maybe taking an action. You want to reduce the number of decision steps before to before like they can take an action. So you break down overwhelming decisions into smaller manageable steps to help the user prevent decision fatigue and maintain rational decision making. So for example, for this tweet, you can see, though also this is an way earlier version of Netflix. So when this user unraden on the Netflix, they see very many movies. And well, for the good thing with this one is there is numbers. At least you can maybe, okay, it's also in a way also confusing because the numbers haven't said what's with that, but with maybe the second line and the third line movies, they haven't like curated which one or maybe ranked to know. Like there are movies options you can take. But with the upper one, it reduces decision fatigue because you have seen their top 10. So you're sure you will maybe get more better experience watching the number one as compared maybe to number five. So you're helping the user to make a decision faster. So helping them to avoid information overload. So for the next law, it's survey bias. So survey bias is worded ones help to eliminate survey bias and ensure that user responses reflect their genuine thoughts and opinions. So you don't want you don't want to ask your user a question in a way they will either respond in a positive way to maybe have your confirmation bias, or in a negative way maybe to to maybe make to make a to what do I say? To maybe and the decision of a person or disregard the decision or the opinion of another person. Also, you should avoid reading answers. So, how you structure your answers to ensure that the the person or the person filling the form won't be prompted to fill or to fit the survey in a in a specific manner. And also anonymity. So ensuring anonymity to make sure that users feel there's protection of maybe their data and also their opinions without having them to feel judged or have pressure to be pressured. So you also want to preserve their anonymity while asking for surveys because that's among the major ways you get to interact with your users and know their perceptions, maybe of your product and what you should work on to improve on your product. And for the other law, it's the bandwagon effect. So hereby, it's whereby users tend to adopt on beliefs on actions that other peoples have already taken. So majorly on the user ratings, or maybe people have watched a video and they are commenting maybe in a positive manner or in a negative manner. So people will most probably go with the with the flow. If it's negative, they will also bring negative comments. So for this tweet, you can see for the first product, it's subscribed to a mailing list. So this one is not much engaging because most you see they go with this one. But for the second one, it's already like framed in a way that you're joining a community with 51,000 other product readers. This motivates the user already to like not want to miss out. So This one also adds the FOMO effect, so the fear of not missing out on or opportunity to maybe to get content on product. Then the other law is analysis paralysis. So this occurs when you present a user with way many options or alternatives on your product, making them to take much time to make a decision. So for example, in this suite, you can see for the first, maybe this is an app, maybe your friend requesting, or maybe you're getting consultation from or services from a person. So you see for the first one, it has more than 5 options you can pick from. But for the other option, they just have to pick from 3 will take to make the decision, which is good for your product. Then there is the hyperbolic discounting law, which whereby people prioritize immediate benefits over substantial future gains. So this would also go with whereby users prefer to not make losses as compared to making profit. So they are more averse to to avoiding losses as compared to maybe getting a win. So for this tweet, for the first screen, it doesn't prompt, it's just the usual way it's way, so it doesn't motivate a user to take action. But on the second one, you can see after the user registers, they will get a free ebook, and the word free can prompt your user to sign up very fast so that they can get a free book. At the end of the day, it's free. They're not paying for it. And that's the end of the second topic. I would have it for if there's a question before I go to the last topic of the day. Does anyone have any question? Right. With that, I'll go to the last topic, which is how people think. Okay. So for the first law, it's cognitive load. So you want to simplify your user experiences so that your user is more immersed to your application and they think about the value they are getting as compared to navigating the stressful parts of the user experiences that aren't like appealing to them. So reduce cognitive load by breaking complex tasks into smaller steps and also using progressive onboarding to guide users and minimizing overwhelm onto them. So for example, here you can see the difference between the number of icons that are presented on the first screen and the second screen. Also on the first screen, you can see there's much space as compared to the second one. So the second one, it's more simplified and it helps a user like to see the options they can take. Then the next law is Weber's law. So embracing incremental design. So users adapt and improve gradually. That is, redesign only the necessary and avoid disrupting the mental models. That is, our users are accustomed to the progress or actions they will take to get a certain maybe outcome from the process in a product. And so, for example, here in this tweet, you can see the Adidas, Abibas Adidas. Yeah, it's up to you how you interpret it, and also to the other picture, there's the huge mountain. So if you're familiar with this logo, you know it's another brand. So you want to, as you make changes, you make them incremental. You don't want to make big changes that will make you that users will be more discomfortable, will feel discomfort going through it, or it will be tedious for them to accomplish the task they want to do in your product. Then there's Fitts law, that is optimizing touch targets. So that's ensuring that touch targets on your products are large enough, there is sufficient spacing, and also they are accessible on your product. So, for example, on this tweet, you can see the difference between maybe the first screen and the second screen. So the second screen has more spacing and there is much distance between the touch targets, especially if you can, in comparison, you have seen games whereby they have the second screen, which is way easier as the user maybe experiences your product. So you want to optimize your targets of your product. And the next one, so for this one, I compressed two laws. So there's mental models and Jacob's law. So to enhance your user experiences. So mental models, it's the process the user takes before they can achieve an action on like their intended what experience they wanted on your application. So you want to leverage mental models to create superior user experiences and also align your product functionality with your user expectations, thus reducing the need for extensive learning to achieve like the action. So this would be, you have introduced maybe a new feature. You want that feature to be as simple as possible for the user to accomplish it, as compared to you having to like maybe to have notes for the users on what would I say? Maybe gestures to help them to achieve them. You want for them even to be able to figure out or on new features you add on themselves as compared to you explaining to them. And this picture here shows the different perspectives between your user and you maybe as the designer or as the product person of the product. How the users will perceive your products and how you perceive it. To the next law, it's guiding users seamlessly. So this is the law of progressive disclosure. So you provide information when users need it. So you provide only information according to like when it's needed. So allowing your users to click for more details on need basis. So during onboarding, introduce only core features and gradually develop more additional options. So whereby this will also help to reduce like the information overload you might give the user when you present them with so much information. So for example, in this tweet, you can see the first two screens, the first paired screens, all the information is displayed. So it may be hard for a user to make a decision as compared to the second one, because on the second one, there's progressive disclosure whereby they tap to see more information. So for example, you have an e-commerce store. How like you you provide information will help users to be able to make decisions and take action. Then, wow, this one starts with a funny cartoon. So, promoting harmonious experiences, which is the law of cognitive dissonance. So, for this cartoon, the the their usual experience is just to push the door and it opens. But yeah, they are frustrated that they had to pull a door outside so that they can enter. So to explain this more, address users' mental discomfort by creating experiences that are in line with their expectation and goals, reducing the need for cognitive. Okay, okay, apology. Yeah, apology. Reduce the need for cognitive adjustments and enhancing satisfaction. So I think this tweet is self-explanatory. And to the next law as we almost come to a conclusion. So this one is the flow state, whereby the user is fully immersed into your product. So it enables users to be focused on tasks, offering them control over their actions. That's whereby you will balance the challenge and capability to maintain the engagement. So, for example, in this tweet, you can see how even consistency is shown between the two people. The first one wants to take big steps, but with big steps you have like with the ladder with bigger spaces you have to like have attention throughout to ensure that you don't follow. But with the staircase with smaller ones, you even forget, at some point you will literally forget you are there. It's like, for example, the proverbial 10,000 hours to you becoming an expert, whereby you reach a level whereby you even forget what you're doing, like you've become fully immersed into your work and it becomes way easy. And the next law is chronoception. So shaping users' time perception, whereby time is what? Time is subjective to users. So, and a very good example I've seen that they have used this law well is for the cabs, the cabs which are online. So, for example, am I to take the traditional taxis? I would literally have to call the driver and hope that they have told me they will be here in 10 minutes. Then I will hope and only hope that they will deliver or they will be there in 10 minutes. But with modern apps whereby you book for a cab online, you see if for some even you see the driver on a map, so you can see they are almost there. So with those applications, they have reduced that how subjective time is to you. So, and to explain this, so making processes seem shorter by breaking them into manageable steps, reducing mental processing, which can distort users' perception of time. So, with more activity or add activities in your product, the user now, as they think about it, makes them think now they are wasting a lot of or using a lot of their time into your products as compared to if you had broken them into manageable steps or maybe even given maybe rewards after they had accomplished maybe 5 steps as compared to them accomplishing 10 steps, then you give them a gift. And for the next one, it's the neighbor illusion. So valuing the experience. So and to explain this one, so item uses appreciation by showcasing the effort behind the scenes. So for example, I earlier today sent this image on UX designers community. So there are two. There's option A and option B. Well, from my perspective, I would majorly use B when the process maybe takes maybe less than maybe a minute or so. But for activities majorly with 5 minutes and above of the time, you want to show the user what's happening behind the scenes. And I've seen this being implemented on products that deliver what food to to people online, whereby you will order and you'll be shown the whole process, whereby maybe you'll be shown like the person has went to pick the meal, then the meal is being packaged, and you see the whole steps. So they are also reducing how subjective the time would be as compared to they are just telling you it's 50% or you're just waiting to 30 minutes. Like you also appreciate like the effort being put to deliver you the product you have ordered. So display the preparation of requested items to create the perception of value and care. And with this, I come to an end to my presentation today. So big thanks to Mariana for allowing me to use the creation to make this meetup successful. So the other topics I haven't covered is how people remember and focus, how people see, and there are also other laws which you can access through this Figma file. And also you can find more helpful resources on our LinkedIn page. So thank you. And with that, I can take any questions. Yeah, I'll share that as I also share the presentation. Yeah. Okay, let me do so. Fine.
Okay, mine is not a question, but just to add on to what the first topic, there's there's a I have subscribed to a weekly magazine called Growth Design that talks about how different apps or different products normally capture the users in the manner in which Roy has explained. So maybe if someone is interested, you could just go and subscribe. It's called Growth Design.
If possible, you can also share like the link of that product in the chat. Thank you. I think with that, the year you can end the call and also invite those who haven't joined the product managers community to join.
Hi, it's Marlene. Is there a way you can share the notes? Roy.
Yes, the notes will, yeah, the notes will be shared
Okay, thank you.
through the
How,
community, and also you can email us at product managers. Let me share the email.
thank you. How do we join the product managers group?
Do you have the
Can you share the email? And Roy, is it the same email you'll send the notes to?
yes, it's the same email.
Okay. Thank you.